Hey, how's it going? It's been a while. I keep saying that. It has been a while though. Yeah, I think today we really need to go over the wells and props kit. It's just launched on the store, so you can go and sort of grab the link in the description. But I think what we'll do is I'll just go over what's in the kit. How it can be used, and I'll have a look at. I'll really kind of go in detail. I'll zoom in detail on sort of all the aspects that you couldn't see from the screenshots, you couldn't see from the YouTube videos. The castle is almost done. That's I'm just working on the marketing art now. Then it will get submitted, so it has to get submitted this week. It's like a deadline. For me, tomorrow is the deadline, so that needs to be done. Cool. All right, let's dive in. So the kit's kind of split up into a few different elements. You've got the individual prefabs, which are essentially the models, and then you've got prefab arrangements. And you've got a couple of dioramas as well, just to kind of show how it can be used. So we'll start with the individual prefabs, but I think what I'll do immediately is I'll get my post-processing in there. I think that'd be a good idea. Post volume global this guy layer post temporal anti-aliasing 0.4 sharpness 0.2. Motion blending sucks. Does anybody use motion blending? What is it even there for? I guess if you've got lots and lots of stuff going on, then maybe it helps. This should work. Why isn't it working? Oh yeah, put you on post-processing layer. Alright, that'll do. Might just make the lighting a little less yellow. Perfect. Alright, cool. So I'm going to change the ground so it's less grey, brown. Okay, cool. Right, let's go over this. With decades of hard work. No, there's plenty of tutorials. I think just the question was how to make some props like this. So it goes block out the props you want, sculpt the props, whether you use pre-made meshes to construct it like I've done, or just sculpt it from scratch. Done a bit of both. Retopologize, so retopo the models, UV, kit bash, and texture and substance painter. In substance painter you can get all kinds of different substances from, there's a lot of different stores. My main one is Source, which is owned by Algorithm? No. I can never pronounce the name. I kind of skim read it and like Alga something. That's substance. Anyway, so they have their own library of substances that you can use, and we don't resell them in the kit. What we do is we composite them in substance and then a substance painter, and then we output collapsed, very very highly composited. Rasterized bitmaps, normal maps, metalness, roughness, etc. Okay, so we've got three main well models. We've got this guy, which is I would probably say like the main one, the one that you would probably have in the middle of a tiny little village square or something. This is more on the outskirts, so. This is constructed using these trees. So you can imagine someone's chopped down some trees and popped these up, and then use some driftwood to just make like an axle, wrap some wrap some rope around that, and you've got a well. And then this is kind of the little brother to that. So you've just got a little cup as the pivot's pulley system. It acts a little bit like a pulley system. But what you do to dig these down, if you stick these on top of a terrain, plop, and then just sort of dig down into the terrain, and then you can use bits like this or wall pieces like that just to kind of bring the well down further, or you can kit bash your own. So we've got some wall sections. These were bent round to make these pieces. Likewise, so is this. We've got these platforms. So essentially, these are the assembly props. You can use these in lots of different ways. We've added the foliage from the medieval village. So we've got ferns and ivy, driftwood pieces. We've got some props here as well, which I think we tried to add as many little props as we could to set dress the area on and the area around the wells. So we've got you can make larger arrangements, which we've already done with these. You've got a shovel. Some urns, you've got the buckets. And some arrangements of ropes, and we've got these guys too. This is too much bloom on this, I think. What to do? Oh, you know what it is? I've set my shadow distance to like 300. That's better. Should have done that from the start. Okay, right. So what I've done is I've taken these. Assembly pieces that build up the base of this guy. And we've built some steps for you. These can be used in lots of different ways. And then you can see how the props can be used. You kind of like dump them into little crevices and litter some coins around and such. Also the ivy, you can just kind of pass that through objects almost, and it just works. Especially things like trees. Yeah, with the trailer, you kind of have to make it really neat and tidy. So this is just kind of a quick and easy way to get in close to the assets and show you probably what you're not going to be seeing in the trailer. So these ones have been set dressed. So we've taken all the little props. We've made prefabs of these. So yeah, just once again, this is on the, you can pick up this kit in the description below the video. So that should, at the moment, it's on the Unity asset store, but I think we're going to need to put these kits onto the Unreal Marketplace soon. And then we're going to have, we need to do the different styles as well. So this village has got like a faceted poly style version. We're going to probably do the same for this as well. So just with the assembly pieces, the trees and the props, we've done some more prefabs. So we've got these pieces, these bits that you can just kind of litter around. they provide sort of a good expansion to the village kit, because at the moment there's not a lot in the way of filler assets or scatter assets. So you can see what you can do with these arrangements. And this is all using a single 4K material, so everything's on a 4K, is atlased onto a 4K map. Here we've just kind of done a few compounds. You can either use them straight as they are, or you can kind of use them as inspiration for building your own into the village kit or the castle or whatever environment you're building at the time. You can see how the props can be used, how the walls can be used to build perimeter walls. I can imagine this is going to work quite nicely with the village assets. So in the village we've got lots of fences and barrels and sort of a lot more assembly objects. Likewise, we've got more assembly objects in the castle as well. It'll all work together, sort of complement each other quite well. Yeah, so this bit was kind of kitbashed from this well. It's just it's like a roof section essentially, so you can kind of build up some shelter. This is just a box right now, but you can imagine you could use terrain quite easily. I've used terrain in the demo scene, so if you go, I'll show you the demo scene in a minute. We'll just have a look at these first. Yeah, it's just so it's just one asset. Not asset. It's just one material. I'll show you the material. So if I grab every single model, everything. Oh, actually no. Let's bring that back. So a few of these assets have been ported over from the village. The only ones that I have done are the ferns and the ivy. Everything else is on one 4K. So let's have a look. Yeah, so everything's just on one material. And take a look at the. That's not very good. I'll open it in Photoshop. Yeah, so it's all just on here really. We go through. Let's open up this. If I show you the ambient occlusion layer, then it will give you a better idea of what it looks like. Yeah, so it's all here. Let me pop this back. Okay, cool. Yeah, so how many people are you working on this? Okay, so yeah, it's just me. We've got, for this particular pack, we've got a couple of other guys helping with retopology, UV mapping and kit bashing. So for this particular pack, I did the block out, concept, the brief, art direction, the sculpts, and the texturing and the demo scenes in Unity, and then we just had the essentially the kind of repetitive work done externally, and that's kind of how we're going to be working moving forwards as well. Yeah, so I mean, having it all in one material is going to save you a bunch of draw calls. I mean, if you really wanted to, you can use some kind of mesh combiner and take every single one of these prefabs and combine the mesh, and this would just be one draw call essentially. You have one material, one model. But that's really up to you guys whether you want to do that. I've kept them as prefabs, just so you've got the freedom to kind of edit them. I might later on add the consolidated meshes, but I need to get the I need to get a mesh combiner off the store and do that first. Okay, let's open up the demo scene. What I can do probably is show you some of the sculpts as well. I think that'd be kind of cool. Cheers. Yeah, it's been, I think it's just a journey to systemize everything now. Kind of, we know I know how to get them built. We know what we need, and I think I know what you guys kind of want. So it's just a matter of standardizing everything, keeping it consistent, and then working out which bits which bits we're kind of paying over too much to get produced, and get that produced externally. And then I think what we're going to be doing moving forwards is reusing the demo scenes and reusing the blockouts and just reskinning them in different genres. So if you can imagine, let's say you had a city street, and it was just a generic sort of modern day urban environment, I don't know, downtown New York or something. You could take that, use it as a base, and then reskin it up in different time periods. You could reskin it up in completely different genres, and that would save a bunch of work. That will bring the price down on those as well. Okay, so when I was building the castle set, what are your thoughts on the grid size and modular elements? Yeah, so the castle's okay, so one wall piece, which is what I tend to use as a base. Oh, okay, speaking of which, yeah, this isn't what I wanted to open up. Okay, hold on. Yeah, this guy. Yeah, so it really depends on how big your character's going to be. So if your character's, say, 1.8 meters high, 2 meters is probably a good sort of estimation. It gives you a little bit of wiggle room. That is what I base it off. So the hold on, let me open the lighting settings. Yeah, is this baked? Yeah. Oh, okay, fair enough. Let me just bump up the light and then I'll talk about the castle. Okay, yeah, so yeah, I think probably a 4x4 meters works best. I think we've got 4.5 tall by 4 wide, and that's what we're using for the castle, whereas the village is 3x3. 3x3 is kind of accurate, but at the same time, you're going to want to probably build some bigger spaces. Just if you're having sort of third-person cameras, I mean, it works quite well, but I think in the future it's probably best to go a little bit bigger. The castle's a perfect size, and to be honest, I think I've had a capsule collider like running around the village, and that's a little bit what's the word? Misleading, because it looks like it should be a small character, but it's actually 2 meters high. The doors are like 2.5 meters high and about like 1.7 meters wide, so there's plenty of room to get characters through and running around and such, and it works quite well. I think you just got to build bigger spaces. So the houses that are in there at the moment with the interiors, they are they're quite small, but it's not so hard to build larger spaces. I do want to do some sort of blueprints or like prefabs which have bigger buildings in the future, so we can take a look at that. But yeah, probably go for 4x4. I think that's a good size, just to be on the safe side, which is what we've done for the castle. Yeah, so this just kind of shows how you're going to integrate a terrain into using the kit. So although We haven't. This is literally just dug a hole and stuck the well on top. You can put your own water in there or whatever you need. And then we've used these wall pieces to build up these kind of terraced areas. Oh yeah, you get these ground materials as well for your terrain in the kit. So you get all these assembly objects, the props, the ground material as well. Can I hit play? Hold on. So the castle's 4x4 because I think we just wanted it to be visually and bigger and design-wise bigger because you're potentially going to have a lot more characters running around, which means you're probably going to need more space. The village, not so much. The village was designed as like an exterior kit to begin with, and then we've kind of wiggled interiors in there. And so I think with the castle, it's going to work with the village kit. I think the two are probably supposed to be different sizes. Oh, okay. No, I've not got the script on there. Let me slap a movement script on there. I think I've included it in the package. Yeah, I think Unity includes, there's a movement script with HDRP. So I just brought that across. It's like simple camera controller, that's it. Yeah, the field of view is really small. So yeah, well, I mean, it's a small kit. The demo scene doesn't need to be small, large even. I mean, there's not too much more we could do with this anyway without adding more components. The demo scene's got point lights, a number of point lights, a direct light, and some reflection probes. And then we baked it. So yeah, baked looks like this. So everything's got UV2s. Everything is unwrapped for light baking. And shadow masks. Shadow masks are great. I've got another video, I think, optimizing the village, which I go into light mapping settings and such. I think that for that is more important. For this, is more sort of props you can drag and drop. Yeah, and then obviously we've got these reflection probes as well, which help. The thing that we haven't done with this is add light probes, but that's really only good for characters and really heavily optimizing. We don't need to do it for this. I mean, it runs at, silly FPS, so it's not an issue. But yeah, I mean, if you've got the village and you've been enjoying using it, I think this is a nice little expansion kit. It helped us a lot, and I think I'd like to try and add to the kit as well. Whenever we have some small little foliage props or rock prop, like assembly props, or even just things that we think will work with the wells when we're building other kits. So we've got these little bottles here. If, for example, we do a market, I'd like to do a market, like a comprehensive sort of market pack, with like different, meat stalls and cheese and herbs and fish and all that, bags, clothes. But probably what's going to happen is we'll probably have a bunch of smaller assets, like generic smaller assets. What we can do is we'll start sharing them across the packs. Like these little coins dotted around, little piles. you're never going to really find a pile of coins like this, but I think it looked cool. So you kind of got a motto to just make it look cool. I think you can kind of figure out the context later. Where are we? Okay, cool. Yeah, is there anything else you guys need to have a look at before I call it a day on this? Oh yeah, I was going to look at the sculpts. Okay, let me get those. Okay, so wells, modelling. Let's try this. Yeah, do let me know if, I think if the audio starts to go a bit tinny or like echoey, I think it's because my computer's having a little bit of a fit. Oh, it's in there at the moment, Rob. So you can see it in the link below. I'll show you actually. Yeah, there you go. Etc. So if you just go to, you can either follow the link or you can go to our publisher page, and then it'll have it down there. Okay, so this is Sculpts. Everything's got colour on these, so it's just simple vertex colour data. You can bake out a vertex colour mask and use that to colour pick, which is helpful because doing that by hand, you don't want to do that. Yeah, so yeah, it's pretty high poly. I think it's, yeah, it says 12.7 million active points, but what you got to do is, if you want to know what the try count is on that, you double it, so it's about 30 million. Let me just stick a material on so for bits like the wood, the stone, these rocks down there, I've got a road brush that I made that you can just kind of swool around stuff. I attempted actually to re-UV some of the props like the shovel and the pots and the bottles, and make them slightly bigger. Maybe give them their own UV, their own material, and add those back in as well, just so they're a bit more high resolution. I think if you're running around as a character, then you're kind of going to want to sort of have those as sort of maybe 4Ks themselves. Do that. Oh, okay. Let me close this. Has it started going echoey now? I can imagine it probably has done. It retains the details pretty well. I don't really want to open Substance just because now I think we're going to have a lot more issues than what we have with ZBrush. Oh yeah, here we go. Okay, error, YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. Yeah, no shit. Okay, alright, fair enough. Cool. Okay. Well, let me open up the store page. So, oh, where was it now? Yeah. So, if you go to, if you haven't already picked up the village, this is the village. Very consistent with the output of the wells and props back, so you can just drop that in here. These are some clay renders. Let me get some proper ones. Yeah, so it's on there right now. So if you want to go and grab it, please do. If you want to let us know about sort of any particular packs that that you want to see in the future, then let us know as well. We've got a Discord that quite a lot of people are on, sort of discussing what we're doing, what we're going to be doing next, feedback, just general questions. So that also should be in the description, a link to that. That's probably the best way to chat to myself if you need any sort of help. And yeah, with any luck, tomorrow I'll get the castle submitted, and then it takes about a week to 10 days to go on the store. Yeah, thanks for dropping by, and hopefully we'll chat soon on Discord. Or I think when the castle comes out, I'll do another one of these, but way more in depth. I'll probably do a long form, sort of 3 or 4 hours. Overview, because there's a big kit. It's a really big kit. I won't do that here, obviously. This is just for the wells and props back. But yeah, subscribe to YouTube, and follow us on Twitter. That also helps. But yeah, take it easy, guys.